Football 25 coming out, and the topic of college football being hot. Today, I'm going to rank the top 20 college football teams over the past 5 years. Now, my criteria for this was mainly going off consistency, but also, you can't ignore national championships, you can't ignore bowl wins, but that's not as much as the focus, it's just consistency of record. And we are going to start off with the number 20th ranked team in the country. But first, let's talk about some teams who barely missed a cut. Florida State is one of them. NC State and Kansas State also. A couple of teams that barely missed a cut too. Just honestly, it was about consistency. Especially Florida State was maybe the big one that they, had 3 losing seasons before the recent stretch of having 10 wins 2 years ago, and then obviously going undefeated and winning an ACC championship this year. So you can say that those 2 seasons matter more than anything else, but still. So number 20, Ole Miss. Not good for a while, honestly, even before this 2019-2020 stretch. And then they just have gotten way better. 2021, 10-3 with a bowl win. 2022, 8-5, bowl loss. And 2023 caps it off with and then 2023 caps it off with a New Year's Six win, best win in best season in program history. So Ole Miss, past 3 years have been super consistent. Will continue to be consistent also after this, having maybe their best team in program history coming up. So they're at number 20. At number 19, we have the Pittsburgh Panthers, who have had a winning season. Who had a winning season every year from 2019 to 2022. Obviously, the big stain is that 2023 season last year where they had 3 wins. But 2 bowl wins and a conference championship, 37-26 record. I think they're deserving of this number 19 spot. Next up, at 18, this was the absolute hardest team to rank. You can put them at 15, you can put them at 35. I don't know. I decided to put them at 18. Why? It's not any day. Like, out of all these teams that have been consistent throughout the last 5 years, none of them did what TCU did in 2022. And yes, one bowl make, New Year's Six bowl against Michigan. That's the reason. I know I talked about consistency, and they have been consistent with 5 and 7 seasons. Didn't even get a bowl game when they went 6-4 in 2020. It's a hard team to rank. I'm gonna put them at 18. I have to give respect to that 2022 team. At number 17, we got Baylor. I think people just forget how good Baylor was in 2019 and 2021. Made it to 2 conference championships. They were honestly 28-3 lead from being a playoff team. They were that close. I think people forget how good Baylor was in 2019 and 2021. They made it to New Year's Six bowls each of the 2 years, losing to Georgia in 2019 and then beating Ole Miss in 2021. Made it to 2 conference championship games, winning one in 2021 as well. But obviously 2-7 and a 6-7 season in 2020 and 2022, and then last year being one of the worst Power 5 teams in college football. Again, 2 good seasons, but 2 amazing seasons that just can't be ignored. Now, another very tough team to rank was the Cincinnati Bearcats, mainly because they spent 4 to 5 years in the American Conference. But in that stretch, an 11-win, 9-win, 13-win, and 9-win season. Obviously, first season in the Big 12, not without Luke Fickell. They did struggle, but they went to the playoffs, went to another New Year's Six bowl game, won one bowl game out of this, and 2 conference championships with a 45-18 record. Easily the most dominant Group of 5 team over the last 5 years. At 15, we have the Tennessee Volunteers. Besides the 2020 season, which will be lenient, obvious reasons, they have gone above 500 every single year, have 3 bowl wins, including a New Year's Six bowl in 2022. And they are honestly the first team that has had a consistent run of over 500 seasons besides Cincinnati on this list. At number 14, we have the first team on this list who have been over 500 every single year of the last 5 years, and that is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. 3 bowl wins in that time, a 45-20 record, including multiple trips to the Big 12 championship and a New Year's Six bowl win in 2021. One of the most underrated programs of the last 5 years. And at number 13, we have Penn State. A losing record in 2020, again, lenient with it, and a bad record in 2021. A bad 2-year stretch for Penn State, but outside of that, 2 11-win seasons, a 10-win season. No conference championship makes, but they do have 2 New Year's Six bowls in this time period, and a 43-18 record. At number 12, we have Utah, and yes, I know, no bowl wins in the past 5 years for Utah, but they do have 2 conference championships, which is the most we have seen so far. And 8-5 last year was considered a terrible year. When you go 8-5 and that's a terrible year, you're a good program. Back-to-back 10-win seasons, 21 and 22. Obviously 2020, 3-2 record. 2019, 11 wins. They had the chance to have 4 10-win seasons, depending on how that 2020 season went. At number 11, Texas has always been there. They've gone over 500 4 seasons out of the last 5, except for that really bad 2021 season. 2 bowl wins, one in 2019 and one in 2020, both Alamo Bowls. Then they made bowls in 2022, 2023, including a trip to the college football playoffs with a 40-22 record and a Big 12 championship. At number 10, we have the Washington Huskies. It's not just a 2023 season. 2022, 11-2 with an Alamo win. 2021, obviously not good. Only played 4 games in 2020. 8-5 and a bowl win in 2019. 3 bowl wins, conference championship, an undefeated season, and a trip to the national championship last season. That is why Washington sits at number 9, we have Notre Dame. And you may be saying, Notre Dame hasn't won any of their big games in the past, not even just 5 years, but past 30 years, 35 years. We all know the jokes. But 11 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins for a 51-13 record, which is way better than any of the teams we've had below them. 3 bowl wins still. Obviously, none of the New Year's Six bowls, which they played in 2 of and lost, including one being a playoff game. Yes, those are the big games. They have not won those big games. But you just cannot ignore that record. It is literally, 7 games better than the next team? And at number 8, we have Oregon. Oregon has had 4 10-win seasons, including 2 12-win seasons over the past 5 years. Obviously, 2020, big outlier, 4-3, which that season they still won the Pac-12. Obviously, only most teams played 4 games less, so be that as it may. They've won the Pac-12 in 2019 as well. Obviously, they haven't won the Pac-12. They didn't win the Pac-12 for the last 3 years, and obviously they're not going to be able to do it again. But they have 2 New Year's Six bowls as well. 1 in 2019, 2023, 3 total bowl wins, 2 conference championships, and a 48-14 record. Oregon sits at 8. At number 7, we have Oklahoma. 3 straight 2-loss seasons from 2019 to 2021, and then Lincoln Riley leaves and they go 6-7. Out of all the top 9 schools, at number 7 we have Oklahoma. 3 straight 2-loss seasons from 2019 to 2021. I say 2-loss because of the 2020 season. 2022, obviously an outlier, going 6-6 and then losing in a bowl game. An obvious outlier here, and then bounce right back, going 10-3 last year for a 48-16 record, which is still elite. 2 bowl wins, including a Cotton Bowl win, and then 2 conference championships, and a playoff appearance for Oklahoma. At number 6, we have LSU. Obviously, 2019 having the greatest, or at least my opinion, the greatest college football team of all time. And it really just went downhill for 2 seasons other at Orgeron. 5-5 in 2020. Okay, 2020, stuff happens. COVID happened. Then in 2021, 6-6 and then bowl game loss. Then they get Brian Kelly. They bounce back 10-4, go to the conference championship. 2022, 2023, 10-3. They have 3 bowl wins, 46-19 record, and obviously 1 conference championship, and then the national championship. At number 5, we have Clemson. Now, I know they have been getting a lot of crap for the past few seasons, but they have had a 54-13 record over the past 5 years. It's a crazy number. 14-1, 10 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins, and 9 wins, which is honestly to Clemson a fireable season. 9 wins. That's the level their program has been at. 3 bowl wins, a national championship making team, 3 conference titles as well. Obviously, no national titles. Kind of a big thing when we're entering the top 5, but still. At 4, we have Ohio State. A 13-1 record, undefeated regular season and conference championship, then a loss in a very controversial college football playoff game in 2019 to Clemson. Go undefeated again in the regular season and win their conference championship, and then lose in the college football playoff. No, they lost in the college football playoff finals, made the national champion. Number 4, we have Ohio State. 8 losses in the last 5 years. A 13-1 record and 2 straight undefeated regular seasons. Obviously, 2020 was shortened, and conference titles. Only losses was to Clemson in 2019 in a very controversial bowl game, and then in the semifinals, and then made the national championship in 2020. Obviously, the past 3 years, 1 playoff appearance, no wins versus Michigan, no conference championship makes. Obviously, really hurts, but still. 2 bowl wins, 53-8 record, 2 conference championships. And at number 3, we have Michigan. With Michigan, the record is not where you want it to be, especially because 4 losses in 2019 and 2020. Only at 48-11, which is low compared to the rest of the top 10, and only 1 bowl game. But that bowl game leads to a national championship. You also have 3 straight conference titles as well. It's pretty hard to ignore. I'll be very lenient with that 2020 season. Obviously, it was terrible for Michigan, but still, with everything that went on. And I'm really just looking at the last 3 seasons where they lost 1 game in the regular season. Obviously, the 2 bowl losses in conference semifinal or national semifinals, and then but an undefeated season in 2023. That's what puts Michigan over the top. And at number 2, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. A 16-8 record over the past 5 years, including an undefeated season in 2020 where they won the national championship, 4 bowl wins, their only loss being this year to Michigan, and 3 conference titles. They're also the only team to beat Georgia over the past 3 years, which I think you guys could figure out is already won. And obviously at number 1, we have to have Georgia. A 63 and 6 record over the past 5 years. The only team to win multiple national championships. The only team on this list, at least, to have 5 straight bowl wins. The only thing is 1 conference championship. But they've made it 3 years. They've made it 4 years. No, they have made it 3 years. I meant the dominance of Georgia, especially over the past 3 years, but even then, a 9-2 and 12-2 season in 2019-20. But just the dominance over the past 3 years is enough to put Georgia at the number 1 spot. So thank you all for watching. The Discord server is coming soon. Please join up when it does. See y'all.